This is Project CB News, where the truth matters. So, a very warm and welcome to Matthew. It is Energy Month. It's the month of May. And hi there, Matthew. How are you?
Good, thanks, and thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, that's only a pleasure. So, tell me quickly, let's get right into it. Who are you? What are you doing?
Great. So my name is Matthew Cruz, and I'm the lead campaign manager for a company called Hohm Energy. That's HOHM Energy. And what we do, we're the first solar marketplace aggregator in South Africa, and the only one that's working with the banks. And what we do is we assist in people that are interested in getting solar for their homes and their businesses to get solar systems, and do this through various means of putting onto their bond or doing a rent-to-own option, or just paying cash. We are agnostic when it comes to the installer that installs in your home. We use PV green card installers only, so they're certified as being quality installers, and we're also agnostic to our suppliers. So we are able to source the best suppliers and the best suppliers for the best prices. And that's what makes us unique compared to any other company. Typically, you'll get a solar installer or a supplier that's approaching you and trying to get your business. And after you've made the sale with them, they're very difficult to get hold of because they've got their purchase and then they're gone. That's kind of the model of the market. And we were completely different to that, in that we are the trusted third-party overseers of solar installations. So we offer things like 5-year maintenance plans, and we are always here to come back to if there's any issues with your system, and we see countless issues from other installers and suppliers. And we'll always be around. We've got partnerships with Investec, Nedbank, and Uber, the bond originator. So as I said, we're the only company that actually banks trust. There's only one, it's us. And so we're looking to become the Uber of solar installations in South Africa.
Well, Matthew, let's be honest about this. If the bank trusts you, no, then it's a done deal, you know.
You like to think so?
It's quite important. Energy and solar energy. Are you in the business of solar energy? And we know that there's a company that we don't really want to mention at this moment, but yeah, we all know who it is, the only supplier for our electricity, and they're not being trusted at all at this moment in time. It's just hard. It's not easy for them at all, but luckily we've got you guys. We've got the homes partners that just goes and do their thing. You've been in the industry for a very long time, and it's satisfying to know that it's not that 1 year you're in and 1 year you're out. You do get those as well. So you've been with homes for a very long time, or they've been in the industry for a very long time as well.
Yes. So just to qualify that, what I mean by a long time, we were initially an installing company, and we were doing installations, and then we noticed this need for a market aggregator, like Uber is for people that want to rent out their homes or a room in their home. And there was no one like that. So we started building this platform so that we could kind of aggregate demand for ourselves. And then we noticed that actually there's no need to necessarily be connected to just one installer or one provider of products. So then we launched this platform, and it's actually like a bit of a closed secret, but it's not open to the public as yet in terms of being launched officially, but the public can go on and get our services the same way that a bank would provide services for their clients. We're open for business. It's kind of a best kept secret. So if people log on to our website, they'll be able to get our services. It's homenergy.co.za, HOHM. So we've been in the industry for 12 years now, but we've kind of transformed as technology grows and options are open to us for doing different things, for having a hosted platform that's able to automate this whole process of people that are looking for solar installations and then connecting them with the people that are installing. And typically installers are small companies, but there's a few trusted ones. Out of the thousands of installers that are out there, there's about 100, 200 trusted ones that we know are going to do a good installation. And then we're there afterwards to make sure that there's no issues after the installation has been installed. And if you see like a dip in your production of your solar energy, then we're there to help out, fix the problems, bring the installer back, bring the provider of the products back and say, listen, what's going on here? You need to replace this. There's warranties. We'll sort that out for the customers as well. So yeah, so we're very excited. This is the best time to be where we are. And so we like to think that we're on a rocket ship when it comes to a company, because we can only see onwards and upwards with the way that things are going in South Africa.
Yeah, no, there's, as you said, the way forward for South Africa, it seems as if it's doom and gloom, but you guys can provide a little spark. You guys can maintain the lights on at the moment. So
Yeah.
that's quite important. I mean, I'm sitting here speaking to you at this moment, and I'm not even sure whether we are going to have in 5 minutes time some energy or power. I don't know. It's like you never know what's going on with the companies as well. So it's nice to know that it's stable and trusted. So that's been established. That's absolute excellent. So and I mean, yes, come on, let's be honest. I don't see, or I don't see in the long term that anything is going to change at this moment. So it's only going down. Oh, it feels for me, and it's my opinion. It's not even it's going nowhere. So
yeah, I can talk to that. I love talking to that actually. So my experience is actually working in Eskom, and in the last, I worked for Eskom for 11 years, and the last 2.5 years was advising the board directly as a management consultant on the current state of Eskom and in the future state of the energy sector. And what's interesting is that, yeah, your gut feel is 100% correct, in that I, from my side, don't see any reprieve coming in the future. Actually, I see the opposite, unfortunately. I see the price of electricity doubling in the next 5 years, and I see load shedding also doubling. And initially, you're thinking about where I'm standing, and my, there's a certain bias because I'm with a company that wants to make you immune from load shedding by having a battery and solar in your house. I'd like to describe why I believe that, and the previous information that I had being in the company that cannot be connected. I can share publicly available information that is not often connected by dots in the way that I'll give you as a narrative. So it's publicly available information, but the narrative is new. So the narrative is this. You can go online and you can take a look at when power stations that are currently in place are going to be shut down. We have 7 power stations that are going to be shut down by 2030, 7 coal power stations. And these coal power stations are getting shut down because of their end of life. They're coming to the end of life. They've had a hard life. They're 60 years old, 55 years old. They cannot be extended, the life of them. They've already been extended by 10, 15 years. Sure. So I was in those extension projects. I was also at Medupi and Kusile, which are now running at 60% efficiency, even though we paid double the time, double the price, and 3 times the length of waiting for them to come online. Kusile is still not online. So this is publicly available information. Okay. Yeah. So we've got these coal power stations that are coming offline through no fault of our own. Like, it's just happening because, as you know, we're not keen on building coal power stations. We're keen to go the renewable routes. And unfortunately, the pace that we're going in the country towards renewable is not fast enough, in my opinion. We're not seeing the equal amounts of like those 8,800 megawatts that are coming off the grid from the coal power stations. We're not seeing that replaced, especially during the peaks in the morning and the evening with power that's coming onto the grid. We do see some big solar farms that are coming on that will provide power in the middle of the day, as the sun is in the middle of the day and midday giving the most power. But we don't see big battery packs, or we don't see other forms of like wind energy, for instance, is also temperamental. This is not giving power during the peaks in the morning and the evening. So that's the peaks, So when you look at your peak demand, it's the mornings and the evenings, and that's what load shedding is cutting. So this is the narrative. Let me simplify it. A lot of coal power stations are going off the grid. We are not bringing enough power onto the grid during that process. As a result, load shedding will increase. The price of electricity last year, the increase was 17%, 17.9%. This year, it's 17.1% overall on average. This is publicly available information.
Yeah.
It can be assumed that going forward, it will not be a 10% increase. It can be assumed that it'll be a minimum of a 15% increase. And that looks like 15% year on year with compound interest is doubling. So if you're paying 2,000 Rand for your electricity right now, in 5 years, you'll be paying 4,000 Rand. And that's very scary. But unfortunately, and this is why I position myself here, there is a solution.
Yes.
The solution is to take your own power needs and demands and satisfy them and take it into your hands and do something about it yourself. And what's so awesome about that is as you take your own home and you take it off, or your business, and you take it off the grid in terms of the load that you represent. And we're not saying go off grid, and I'll get to that later. We're saying like, get a battery and solar installation that helps you, but also helps the country. Because as you take care of your own load, there's now less load for the load shedding to be needed. So basically, the more installations that we have of batteries and solar panels in the country by business owners and homeowners, the less there will be load shedding. And that's for me is amazing, because it's the private individuals coming in and actually solving the problem that is like created by the company that shall not be named, as one may put it.
Yeah. Oh, Matthew, it's quite interesting because it brings us to the point of that everyone wants to point a finger to the government and say, you need to fix it, you need to fix it. And what if we can turn it around, and as we are doing at this point, saying, okay, let me play a part in doing something. I'm not going to wait for a company or the biggest company to do something, because yet again, they can't, and they've proven it all over and over again. But then let me, as an individual, as a citizen, caring for South Africa, loving the country, I mean, it's a beautiful country, let me help to make it easier for every other one. Because if I can do something, it means that load shedding, as you said, will be less. And that's at the end what we want.
Yeah, that's so on point. And load shedding and power demand in countries have been seen time and time again to directly correlate with how the country is doing economically. So we got the gross domestic product, the GDP, how much the country earns. It's directly correlated. So as we have power reducing, then you have the GDP reducing as well. And as power becomes available, then you have the economy doing better. So in my opinion, it's the most significant thing in South Africa that can turn South Africa around, having a stable power grid and having a stable power system. And what's so nice about this, it's almost like a win-win-win situation. So it wins for the country, people caring about the country, seeing how they can benefit. But interestingly, right now, there's a double win for the consumer. So what do I mean by a double win? So the first win is great. You've got now the solar and battery installation, but it costs money, right? Say for instance, a house that costs 3,000 Rand a month for electricity bills. They'll get an installation that'll cover their electricity needs for about 200,000 Rand. I know that sounds like a lot, but one company can help you put that 200,000 Rand onto your bond. And when you do that, the cost for repayment of your bonds will go up, let's say, around 1,500 Rand. We were running the numbers this last week, and we've just come to this kind of stunning realization that actually people save immediately by doing that, because your electricity bill will go down by 1,800 Rand. Your bond goes up by 1,500 Rand. You make an overall savings of 300 Rand. So you save from the first month by becoming immune to load shedding. And then going forward, every year that you have an increase, 15%, 16%, 15%, you do not experience an increase, because your remaining power that you have to pay to Eskom will just go up a little bit in terms of the total amount, because it's a 15% increase on 200 Rand, Sure. So you become immune to price increases as well. So you get a double win. So you get a win, you save money immediately, especially going forward. This is the best time to invest. You save having to deal with load shedding, and you also get free power for the next 15 years. So yes, you do have that repayment on your bond. However, it's very much, in my opinion, the best investment you can make at the moment in anything. So that's my little sales pitch. I hope it was good. Definitely check us out if you want to check these numbers and confirm them. Like, log on, get in touch with our agents. We'll phone you back. Check out our platform. We'll do an automatic proposal for you just online. And yeah, you can verify these numbers yourself.
So Matthew, speaking of this, I'm somewhat excited about this, because we are running companies, and it's one of those frustrating things when you pitch at the office and there's no electricity, and then you need to go and check what is it, what's going on, is it load shedding, is it not, what's going on. And if you are self-sustained and sort of off the grid, or semi off the grid, it helps. It helps knowing, okay, production can move forward. I mean, I've spoke to one of my clients as well, and what's interesting, they said there was load shedding. They've got two businesses next to each other in the same road. It's not even as if it's a block away. It's next to each other. And one day this company will have load shedding, and then the other day the other one.
Wow, that's terrible.
It's terrible. I'm like, how production wise, how does it work? And they're like, you know what, people are just like, oh no, it's load shedding, and it seems as if they don't want to work anymore, but then he comes up with a bright idea and says, let's just put a something through to the other company, and maybe like an extension or a cable of what sort of way, so that when one's off, the other one can function and produce. And I'm thinking right now, wait a minute, maybe solar energy will then be the better thing for them. I mean, then they don't even need to, I don't know if the electricity bill, I'm not even too sure what an electricity bill for a big company who's manufacturing steel and what the costs are, I don't know. But in my head, I'm thinking, for them to say, okay, no, let's go home because it's load shedding, we can't do anything, to saying, okay, let's install this, let's get a bond, let's do or invest in our company, and they can't go wrong. At the end of the day, production will go on.
Yeah. And what's so interesting about that is I like that thinking, like, what can we do to solve this problem? Like what can we do to have power at both companies? And what unfortunately we're seeing is almost like hindrance that comes from government towards doing that. So example is that connection that you would possibly do is not really considered legal, potentially. I mean, it's possible potentially, but it would be difficult, but it's definitely possible. And even if one company had to be like, cool, I'm going to now build a little turbine to provide, if it's a steel company, and they need lots of power, I'm going to build a turbine on my own premises to provide myself 100 megawatts. That's the limit that we've gone up to now, thankfully. and say, for instance, your other business down the road is producing at night and your steel company is producing during the day. You're not still allowed to just go and send your own power over your property line to yourself, unless you go and sign a whole wheeling agreement between the two companies, and then 3 months of analyzing by the powers that be whether you're allowed to wheel or not in the area. Like, people don't realize that great, you can create your own power little station of 100 megawatts, but you can't send it over your property line because the wheeling agreements then system comes into play. So basically, it's at the moment, in my opinion, dysfunctional the way that things are working. And I've got lots of opinions for the government on how they can improve the system by opening up the self-generation capabilities.
Yes.
And what do I mean by that? Why do I say opening up? At the moment, there's being these tariffs that are being discussed of, okay, NERSA will say, we will charge you more if you're going to have a solar and battery installation because we want to make Eskom attractive. You know, literally that's I'm quoting under narrator now. There's going to be a different tariff, a fixed line tariff for people that are taking care of their own energy needs. And I need to be very careful now because I'm talking to media and it's going across the world, across South Africa, in terms of exactly what I say when I'm talking about this. Because it's like, you know, you've got Eskom, you've got the government, you've got different parties, you know, what can you say? But you do want to get truth out there. Truth is very important.
Speak the truth, yes.
Let's stick to the truth. Okay. So, in my opinion, if you incentivize people like in Germany to get solar and battery installations in their house, like what happened in Germany, all the topper, you know, they used to refer to them as LSMs, the LSM 9 and 10, but they don't really use that anymore, the living standard measurements. Let's just say the rich people, all the rich people, if they're incentivized, immediately realize it makes sense and they just, all of them buy immediately solar and battery installations. Yeah. If you incentivize it, you know, if you say things along the lines of, instead of charging you more during the peaks and having a fixed line contract, we'll give you a rebate and a benefit for installing a battery in your house because you're actually helping South Africa, you know. Yeah. So we'll incentivize that. We'll give you money, you know, or we'll give you a good rate to putting power back onto the grid during the peaks. We'll make that beneficial for you. So we want you to do that. So we're going to incentivize you to go and get solar and battery installations. Then what happened in Germany is once all the rich people, you know, I'm being very liberal with my language now, installed, then all of the next class also realized, hey, this also makes sense for us, and they did the same. So when you go around Germany now, if you ever visit, you'll see almost every single house has a solar and battery installation, or definitely solar. You can see, don't have to go into the house and see batteries, but you can definitely see like solar. It's like something like 85% or something of all the roofs in Germany have solar. So, and they did it the right way, you know, and they incentivized people to bring the solution. They didn't disincentivize people to bring the solution. So that's my suggestion to government, you know, in the kindest words I can find possible. And I can find kinder words if I was to talk on a panel with the government. But I have my opinions. They are formed from management consulting to the board of Eskom. And now they're formed from the other side as well, working on the side of solution to solve the problems from the private sector.
It's all about solutions at the end, and it's all about power. I mean, we need to, I love this idea of having an incentive. Let's do something. Let's give something to the people, to the South Africans, and say, listen, there we go. We're going to help you helping us, kind of thing. And that is the better way to do it, I would say. But we've got opinions about how things are running at this moment. And I would love to see us going that route of Germany as well. Just helping the fellow citizens out at the end of the day.
Yes, yeah. And through the incentivizing, you then get the citizens to then pay for the solution themselves while helping themselves, which I think is amazing. Like it's just, it makes so much sense. And it makes me question why that is the case, why we're going the opposite direction of that instead of towards that, you know. But I'll leave that for your viewers and your listeners to figure out that narrative themselves, because that I definitely cannot say on live TV, even though it's in my brain. As to why.
Yeah, let's leave it as is. I can certainly see a few opinions arising as we speak at this moment. But
yeah, that's why I stick to publicly available information and truth.
Yeah, truth is very important for me. I love the truth. And let's talk about this for a moment quickly, Matthew. Let's talk about money. If I say I've got a household of 5 people, we medium size, we're not the rich ones, you know, we in the middle class people. How would we go about saying, okay, we are now not so very happy about our situation that we are currently facing, and there should be more, and we want to help South Africa and ourselves, of course. So how would we go about
doing that? Great. Well, yeah, that's really good. That jogs my mind now to speak about the scalability of these systems. So say for instance, you just wanted to become immune from load shedding for now. You don't want to necessarily go and get that. And I'll go back to the example because it does sound like a house that's, I like the example of 2,000 Rand electricity spend per month. So let's just use that as an example. So yes. If that kind of house just wanted to get a battery to make sure that it didn't experience load shedding, became immune from load shedding, like the vaccine for load shedding, or I put it, but I don't like going that route. But basically become immune from load shedding. Then the battery would cost, the total installation, the battery itself would cost about 50,000 Rand for about 4 hours, because you do want to cover the load shedding. You can get a smaller battery if you want, 35,000 Rand. And an inverter is needed to then then convert the power that's in the battery, because it's actually like it's direct current voltage, which is different to the alternating current that comes into your house through the line. You need to convert that direct current to alternating current. So your inverter is there. It's kind of like the brain of your system. It's not to be confused with those inverters you buy from Macro or Game, those small little inverters that can power maybe your Wi-Fi. It's, and they last like a year and then they're done. It's an inverter that sits in your garage. It's like this big, and the battery is like this big, bigger, and sits on your wall out of the way. That would come to about 80,000 Rand total installation for that house. And that installation can be funded from a rent-to-own model or put onto your bond as well, because it's a fixed asset on your house. And if a buyer had to come along, they would love that your house has that. They'd be like, great, I can't believe that I found a house that has, immunity from load shedding. This is amazing. I'll pay more, and so you'll often find that your investments yields better returns than you expected if you sell your house. So that's the one thing. So there's 80,000 Rand. You can then go and get a rent-to-own model or put it onto your bond and start off very small and scalable. Then if you'd like to add to that system, you can then add 1 solar panel, 2 solar panels, 3 solar panels. We recommend 4 for a house like that with 440 watts ratings. They can then start giving you power during the day, so you're not needing any power from Eskom during the day. And then at night, your battery, because you've stored now solar power into your battery, can then give you the power during the night, the evenings, and then save some for the morning. And then if there's load shedding as well in the morning, during the day. So then you can modularly, like slowly build up to a complete system where you're grid adjacent. And you mentioned before grid, off grid. We don't recommend off grid. We recommend being grid tied with a hybrid solution. Hybrid meaning solar, battery, and an inverter that can be the brain between all of those things. And then potentially even when the government gets their act together, give power to the grid, because that's also a whole nother story. But I don't want to get to that. So the thing with grid, off the grid, is that if you're going to go off the grid, it is difficult because you need a battery that's roughly 3 times the size of just being grid tied. And this is because sometimes the cloud cover comes for a week, 2 weeks, and your panel is only giving you 10% yield, and you're not getting the energy that you need to fully power your house for a few days in a row. And in that case, then you don't have Eskom just charge you up like you would plug in a cell phone battery. You need to get like a generator as well. You need, like, instead of 4 panels, you need 16 solar panels, like 4 times the size. Your battery needs to be 3 times the size, which is like much more expensive. So going off the grid isn't recommended. It's recommended you keep the connection to Eskom, but you use them like 5%, 10% of what you used to use them for. And then you just top up when you need it.
Yeah.
So that also works for your battery only, your 80,000 Rand installation. During load shedding, you're giving power to the house, and then it's load shedding, fortunately, is very scheduled. So it definitely does come back when it's scheduled to come back, and then you can spec your system to be like 4 hours exactly, and then after the 4 hours it charges up again, and then from there add on to your solar panels. So I hope that answered your question. I'm not sure if I maybe covered all the bases there. Feel free to ask me more. I'm happy to talk about this all day.
No, I'm very happy because I've seen people, and it's quite interesting that you said that you don't suggest going totally off grid, and you need to have that a link between Eskom and which for me it makes sense because I've got a friend of mine that said, we're going off, and they're off grid. I mean, it's lovely to go and visit them, because especially when there's load shedding, so, but I see the point that it's not, you need to have that money, and you talk about a few $1,000 just to get off grid, but it's not always the best answer and the best way to go.
Can be up to 550,000 Rand for that 5-bedroom house, or that 4 or 5 people house. For a house that costs 200,000 Rand to be grid side, you're going to look at 550,000, even up to 700,000 Rand just to go off grid. And is it really worth it? Yeah, it's nice to stick it to Eskom and stuff, but now there's a phrase that I know that my mom used to tell me. It's called biting off your nose to spite your face.
Yes.
You don't want to go necessarily and hurt yourself by being so against Eskom. So instead of saying off grid, we can maybe say off Eskom. So they still give you a little bit of power, but you're just not giving them much money.
No, I mean, if you can save some way, why not? We some are getting into that, save a little bit of money and do something else, because in this current state, we just came out of the COVID lockdown, and yes, COVID hasn't really left us per se, but we're thinking about the lockdown season and all of that, and it's nice knowing that you can save a little bit here and there. There's a lot of things that happened during our lockdown season, and if you can save a little penny or two, that's always for me a saver, and a thumbs up for that. You always have to save some money up.
Yes, and to talk to the saving aspect of it, what's interesting is that the bond doesn't go up. If you put the amount onto the bond, or if you get a rental agreement, it'll go up maybe 6% per year through like a vehicle asset finance type of model, where you have a fixed asset that's there, like a car. When you're doing the finance options, there's no upfront costs. It's similar to when you get a bond on 100% or 110%, and there's just no costs. And the monthly installments remain consistent, unless the interest rate goes up a little bit, like it is going to go up 0.5% coming up in the next couple of weeks. That amount is stable and static. So you can actually then do really good budgeting and see how much you're going to be saving, because you know how much you're paying towards your bond, and that money that you're paying towards the bond, you're saving more than the money that you would be paying to Eskom. So that back to the example, you're paying on your bond, you're paying 1,800 Rand, but now you're saving 1,500 Rand on your bond, but you're saving 1,800 Rand on your electricity bill. So now you're saving 300 Rand. Next year, that electricity bill would have gone, if you add like 15% or 17% onto the 2,000, then you go up to 2,400 Rand, 2,300 Rand, 15%. Then that 2,300 Rand that you would be paying next year, it's actually coming in force now in July. It's the 31st of July that next year's increases are happening now. So from the 31st or 1st of July, your 2,000 Rand that you're paying, will go up 17% and go immediately to 2,340 Rand. And I'm just doing quick maths now in my mind. So now you're paying 340 Rand, 17% of 2,000 Rand additional. And then guess what's going to happen the next year? It's going to go up again, 15%. And now I don't want to go and do quick maths on that. But say, for instance, like 2,340 Rand, you're going to add 15%. You're going to add, like, say, another 330 Rand. So now you're sitting at like 2,670 Rand, and it keeps on going on and on and on to the point where in 5 years' time, it's now 4,000 Rand. Whereas if you had made the investment now and you make the immediate saving now of 300 Rand, next year you're saving 640 Rand. The following year, you're saving 970 Rand. And so we can see, like, when we come to investments and long-term planning and wise decisions, why it makes sense to invest now. And another point on now, I know, obviously I'm a bit biased in this because like the company that I'm with wants you to get solar and battery installations beneficial for us and beneficial for you. We've seen a decline in the price of solar panels for the last 15 years. And that makes sense because as the world went towards green energy, the same panels are used in power plants, the big power plants in America, Europe, China, those panels are made of the same material. They're the same panels that'll go on your roof. There's been an explosion in competition, in demand, in production. And so we've seen over the last 15 years a 90% decline in the cost, 90%. So if something cost $1,000, now it costs $100, you know, for the panel. And that decline has happened over the last 15 years. However, this year, last year, 2021, we've seen the trend do this, come up a little bit, tiny bit. So now we've seen a slight increase in the cost of solar panels. And that's very significant. And everyone that does investing, and I also like thinking of my friends in Poch that are very focused on finances when it comes to farming and when to invest and when to hold and when to sell. When you see that dip, that bottoming out, that's the time. That's when you climb in, because now you know what's going to happen. The demand has actually caused the excess demand has caused an increase in prices, and now the suppliers see that and they're like, oh, you know, there's global shortages, you know, so now it costs more. And so we don't want that. We want to we don't want to wait for 3 years time when load shedding is now increased by 60% and the price of electricity is increased by 45% or 60%. We want to kind of read the winds and invest now. You know, you can wait a year and wait to see that whether this, you know, prediction of mine, my opinions play out. But I think it's quite telling that Eskom has predicted and forecast and let us know through the media that there's going to be 100 days, up to 100 days of load shedding, minimum like 61 days of load shedding over winter, the next 6 months, 100 days. Jeez, that's a lot of days. You know, when you consider that's, you know, the year is 365 days. So you've got like 180 days for winter in 6 months, and then 100 of those, that's like 1 in 3, you know, like more. 1 in like, geez, what is that? Like, no, I'm really doing quick math, but that's like 1 in 2.5 or something, like days of not necessarily perfectly every 2.5 days, you're gonna have load shedding for 1 day, but you'll have load shedding like we just had now for a week, then you're gonna have a break. And previously we were like, oh, load shedding was there, but now it's gone. But now we know, they've told us.
They told us.
Here for a week. It's here for a week. It's gone for 2 weeks. It's going to come back for 3 weeks. It's going to be gone for 2 weeks. It's going to add infinitum. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So, you know, there's been lots of interest in solar. There's been lots of interest in batteries. There's, you know, it's not something necessarily too new on the marketplace. But what you will start seeing is an explosion of people getting installations on their house. So when you see your neighbors getting solar, when you see other people and you ask them, yeah, the best people to come to are Hohm Energy, HOHM. We are the trusted people that are trusted by the banks. And we're here if your installation, anything goes wrong, any issues, we're the only people we offer maintenance, 5-year maintenance package. I mean, yeah, so think of us as the Volkswagen, I guess, of providers, because you can bring your car to us for servicing.
Yeah, so that is absolutely amazing. And we know now where to find you guys. And just give us that website address, Matthew, just yet again, so that the people know. And maybe a Facebook link or whatever you want to share with us, so that our listeners and our viewers can just get into it and get to you. I mean, investment is... the opportune time for investment is now. I mean, if you've said it so on the spot on, that if that little turnaround starts climbing, we are going to pay a lot. So if invest now, it's the way to go. It is the future. And what I do know is that if it's 100 days of load shedding and it's in winter time, man, they do say that this coming winter is going to be a very cold one. Imagine without a heater or a warm water bottle or something to keep you warm and comfortable for the day. It's going to be then an extra cold winter and dark too.
Yes. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's like, and I mean, I say it's unfortunate, but meanwhile, in my mind, like it's bringing about the change quicker It's like COVID, you mentioned previously, brought about the change of like work. Now companies had to do remote work. So now they're more trusting of their employees to do the work without necessarily micromanaging them. Like
Yes.
people can work from home now. So now I see this as bringing the acceleration quicker, and our mission that we have, our vision statements here at Hohm Energy is we're accelerating the green energy transition. We're accelerating sustainable energy. So we're bringing about that transition through whatever means, but for now it's primarily residential and solar installations for companies. So that platform that we have, it's Hohm Energy, HOHM energy.co.za. And to talk a little bit about that and why we got to the position with the banks, apart from the trusted aspect of it, the third party, we deal with all the PV green card installers and all of the best suppliers, Rubicon, and I'm not going to mention too many because they didn't pay me to, but the Tesla, there we go. There's another one. So we work with the best products, and I'm probably in trouble with that for my CMO, but but to mention that the other aspect that makes us unique, and that is our proprietary platform that we have. So when you go onto our platform, it'll give you a quote according to your exact location. So you'll get asked a few questions like, how much are you spending? You say 2,000 Rand a month. Whereabouts are you living? And give you your address, and you'll see on Google Maps, there's your house. You trace out your roof. It's all automatic, and you get your proposal within 5 minutes.
Sure.
Just by answering like 8 questions. And that process, that 5-minute process, takes 3 weeks when you go with other installers. Because they want to come to your house, they want to give you a whole spiel, they want to explain to you why it's so bad, and they want to have that whole sales process, have a bit of tea, and smooth you basically, without giving you the information up front. So to get to that final figure, it takes a while. So you'll get an indicative proposal within 5 minutes. You just log onto the platform, HOHM, homenergy.co.za, and you'll get your indicative proposal. And then from there, if you be like, okay, this makes sense. I see the financing option that Only Home offers. I see there's a rent-to-own option as well. If I don't have a bond, or I'm like, don't want to put it on my bond, or I'm like, my bond is ending in 5 years or 2 years because I'm an elderly person. Like I'm keen for the rent-to-own model. There's that option as well. And from there, what will take place is you'll have a virtual site visits, which is now not the site visit that an installer would usually do. Would come to your house. We do it virtually. So simple WhatsApp call, video call. Can you show us your DB? Can you show us your roof? Can you show us how far your DB is from your roof? And, like from the different things that we ask, and basically getting the information that we get by visiting a house all online, we then get you your invoice. If you want to go forward, here's your invoice, and that's all done. It's like 5 minutes online and then 45 minutes talking to someone. A very nice sales agent, or it's not actually, we don't call them sales agents. They're energy advisors, because they have to have very specialist knowledge about how these systems work and what exactly information is needed to get you the best quality and affordable products for your specific unique situation. Because every home is unique. It's not a cookie cutter, one size fits all, especially when it comes to installations with the cabling and what's currently there. Are you 3-phase? Are you 1-phase? Like all these things, you do need a site visit to happen, and we do a virtual site visit. So I can go on and on about my company and about the benefits of solar and batteries. So stop me whenever you're ready. But is there anything else you would like to know? Is this like coming to the surface for you?
I'm like super happy about this, because it really cuts to the edge of saying, okay, this is what we can do for load shedding and for our country, is helping each other out. And there was a lot of questions that I wondered about and I've seen around, but Matthew, you've answered all. I mean, I'm so incredibly thrilled knowing that I can make a difference at the end of the day. And not even anyone out there can be the change, and saying, well, we can do this. And then go get a hold of your company homes and just get in there and do the right thing.
Yeah, inform yourself, educate yourself about what's out there, and link up with companies that are trusted. That's what I recommend, because a number of stories that I've referenced it before, but the number of stories that I've seen and heard personally like there's a CEO of a health company, and I'm not going to name the names of the health company, but the installation was done illegally. It doesn't even work. There's some car batteries there. Now, if a CEO of a health company has a bad installation that needs fixing, how much could you be in the same situation trying to just find the answer on the internet? It's difficult. So go with a trusted company, go with a company that's maybe the Uber of solar, that's there forever, can always come back to, because it's a 15, 20-year installation that you're getting on your house. You need a trusted company that's going to be around, not just jumped on the craze of solar and got a bucky and got some panels and like, hey, I'll give you the best price. Maybe you'll get the best price. You'll save 5%, maybe, and you'll get a great deal. But geez, some of those installations actually like destroy the circuitry in the house because they wire them the wrong way, and now all of your electric equipment is blowing up, or breaking, because now you've got issues on your circuit now because your inverter isn't really doing the right thing for the battery. Like I'm talking very high level now. Go much into that, but so highly recommended. Do come to us, homenergy.co.za, hohmenergy.co.za, and we'll help you out.
So that's the trusted company in South Africa. Just do yourself a favor, go to Homes, and then just do the right thing. I'm telling you, my mom always says that you don't buy the products, or if you do buy cheap, it's going to cost you more at the end. So go and buy a reliable product, knowing at a reliable place, knowing that product will last forever. Actually, it should outlast you at the end of the day, and this is what your company is doing. It's going on and on and on, and trust is the most important thing of especially because we don't trust certain companies who come into power and energy. We need to trust, and therefore we are grateful that you guys are here for us.
Awesome. Happy to be here as well. Anytime you'd like to come, you're welcome to come back on the show. If something else happens, like someone gets kicked out of a parliamentary session in Big Old Park, just chat to me.
We will definitely, we'll keep you informed as well. So, but thank you so much, Matthew, for your time and your valuable tips concerning the energy that we are having, the energy problems that we are having. And now we know that it should not be a problem at all because you guys are here for us. So thank you so much for your time, Matthew, and may you guys just prosper and do what you do the best that you can with the power to be.
With the power to be. Awesome. Thanks so much, Colette, and it's been great chatting with you. I'm looking forward to having a chat with you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew. Have a lovely day. This brings us to the end of our show. Go to our website to uncover more stories at projectcb.online.